Hello, besties. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Today I'm going to react to Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I love his channel, and he's going to talk about Shia Labeouf. I hope that's how you say his name, I'm not sure. But it's about the allegations against the abuse allegations against his ex-girlfriend. So let's get started.
All right, so let's get into what we're talking about today. We're talking about Shia Labeouf. Where's the Labeouf? Shia is an actor, and he's known for being kind of difficult. Now, he had a girlfriend, FKA Twigs, filed a lawsuit in 2020, and I think it is still pending, if I'm not mistaken. But he admitted on camera he was on John Bernthal's podcast, The Real Ones. So you should check his podcast out too. But he talked about the treatment that he put this girl under. In other words, he treated her like shit. And let me just tell you something about domestic violence. It never pays. It is the most childish thing a fucking guy can do. Or really a woman. I mean, both people can be abused. But it's most...
I didn't know he admitted this on camera. So this is this is self-snitching. This is what Bruce Rivers is all about. Stop self-snitching. And that's exactly what he did. This is... But I never would have guessed he would just act like this. I don't know. I don't know. I never would have guessed that Shia would act this way, but he's probably like most celebrities, probably on drugs, high, just, I don't know, childhood trauma. There's no telling what's going on.
Guys, let's face it. And it's the most childish thing anybody can get themselves into. Usually driven and fueled by drugs or alcohol. But it is just, if you can't solve your problems, but with calm, rational discourse, then get the fuck out of there.
Exactly.
Whether you're a man or a woman. So let's just see what he has to say, and we'll come back around to it.
And this is what created the insecurity and the jealousy that put hands on this woman.
Did you hear how he put that? He didn't put the hands on that woman. The jealousy and the security put his hands on the woman.
You're going to jail.
But what I do like is, accountability, and it seems like I've read some articles on it. It seems like he's taking accountability. Let's look at another clip.
And what it is now, like what my purpose is now, I need to be useful. And when I look at this Me Too environment, there's not a whole lot of dudes that are taking accountability. I fucked up bad, like crash and burn type shit, hurt a lot of people. And I'm fully aware of that, and I'm gonna owe for the rest of my life. And I also don't have that feeling about the woman who's accused me all this shit like I did in the beginning. When it first landed, I thought, man, there was I wanted to hit Twitter and be like, look, I got receipts, this, that, but this.
So, in all honesty, if this is my client, I'd tell him to shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
They've got a trial date of
yes.
April 2023. Why?
Like, you can forget about this trial now. All they gotta do is just show them this interview. Forget the trial. You admitted to everything. You just admitted to everything. They don't even need a trial now. Oh my gosh. Stop self-snitching.
I can understand why he's doing it. I mean, because he's trying to rehab his image. And here's the thing: when you're this guy, you walk a fine line, right? Because are you doing this because you just want to rehab your image, or are you doing this because you really mean it? If you're doing it because you really mean it, you don't need to do that on a podcast, right? You don't need to do that, on TV or at but you're a public figure, and so I get why he's doing that. And I just, and we'll get more into this interview, but it's just, we'll see, are you making amends to the people that you hurt? That's
no.
Really the biggest thing. So,
but not that, but this, but not that. And the reality is, All of that shit is unimportant. The reality is that she saved my fucking life, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's like some kind of sage, or like a, I don't know. She's a saint for me.
Little solace for somebody who's been abused.
Exactly.
You want to hear these kinds of things, and so
She saved your life, so you repay her by beating her up. That's how you repay her. Like this doesn't even. This is not gonna help her at all. Like, she needs therapy after this. She saves your life, and you turn around and do that to her. Just trash. You are a trash person.
the extent that he's doing this, I applaud him. But, you know, it is suspect, because whenever anybody does this, why are they doing it, you know?
Because had she not
That's
intervened
true.
in my life and not created the avenue for me to experience ego death, I'd either have a really mediocre existence.
Experience ego
I mean-
death. Why does she have to get you DV'd to so you can come up? So you like, he is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Why does she have to get hurt for you to grow as a person? That's crazy.
Maybe that, and my understanding is that he's in kind of a men's group, and where they go for a ride, they go to the beach, they do Zoom meetings, you know, for accountability. And to the extent that he's doing that, I applaud him. And sometimes you need to hit that rock bottom. Sometimes you really need to know that you a piece of human shit because of the way you're treating people.
Yep.
Because, you know, you can't fucking do that. You can't treat people like shit and expect to have a decent, untumultuous life. Because if you treat people like shit, you get what you give. You know.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
remember when I was telling you, build your relationships, build the love in your life. Guess what? If you build love by giving love, it'll come back 10 motherfucking fold.
Absolutely.
It will.
Created the avenue for me to experience ego death, I'd either have a really mediocre existence or I'd be dead in full.
Antithesis of being a friend is walking away. I am not going to walk away. Like, I am always going to love you. I am always going to support you. But no matter what the case is, my job as your friend is to, in whatever.
But that's different. As you're not the one who's getting pounded on. It's easy for you to say that you'll always be there. They sound ridiculous.
way you allow me to, or you allow me to be a part of that process, is to make sure, one, you never do it again. Make sure, two, that you're in a healthy process, and number three.
How are you going to make sure he doesn't do it again? How are you going to do that? You going to hold his hands? You going to tie his hands behind his back? You going to wait in his closet and make sure he doesn't do anything crazy? You going to hide out in his closet? He needs to take responsibility. You can't make somebody else do something. That is crazy. That kind of thinking is ridiculous.
That I'm a support system for why you're going through that.
Yeah, I mean, I got amends to make. I got a long list of people that I need to make amends to. And so,
You ain't kidding.
what I want to say to those people is, I get it, you know.
Well, and here's the thing.
Do you, though?
When you've been abusive to somebody, they don't want to fucking talk to you.
Sure don't.
And they shouldn't want to talk to you. So he doesn't probably have, and especially if there's a lawsuit that's pending, he probably doesn't have direct access to somebody to tell them, you know. But making amends is part of treatment. And if you're going through either, whether it's chemical dependency treatment or anger management or whatever, it's part of that process.
You know, it doesn't seem, you know, when it first hit, it was like, you know, I wanted to air it out and talk about specifics, and like, none of it really matters, you know. I hurt that.
Doesn't matter to you. I mean, none of it really matters. Yes, it does matter.
It does matter. This interview, he should have not done this interview. This is crazy. He is snitching on himself all over the, like, you are not looking good on this interview. in this interview. You're not, look, this is not helping you. You're not. Like, just go to therapy. Go to therapy. Just work on yourself. Just don't do any more interviews. This is crazy. You're just digging yourself in a deeper hole. It's a crater by now. Chill out.
Matter. Those specifics do matter.
That woman, and in the process of doing that, I hurt many other people, and many other people before that woman.
And many other people before that woman.
What? You have just opened yourself.
I have a friend of mine who actually.
You just opened yourself up for more lawsuits. You just admitted that you hurt other people. This is, oh my God. Cut the microphone off. This is, shut down the cameras. He must not have a lawyer. This cannot have been approved. This is crazy.
I was so competitive. My acting wasn't collaborative. It was competitive. It was a sport. And my life was this way. And this is what created the insecurity.
So my life is competitive, and life should not be there should be times where you're competitive. When I'm in a courtroom and I see the other side, like in this trial that I just won, the whole fucking trial, I was given.
There you go. Brag on yourself, boo.
So much shit. It was so fun, and I was just calling him Tony the Tiger, and whatever. And it was good natured ribbing, and it was competitive. But when it comes time to your personal life, somebody that you love so much, you should not be competitive with them at all.
And the jealousy that put hands on this woman.
The jealousy that put this hand. Let's watch that again for a second.
My life was this way, and this is what created the insecurity and the jealousy that put hands on this woman.
It's what created the insecurity, and the jealousy that put hands on that woman. Really?
You did
so
that.
It wasn't you. It was the insecurity and the jealousy. It's a way of distancing. That's why I get suspect of stuff like this.
Yep.
Because, he's got no emotion, and he's really just rehabbing his image.
That is all this is for.
The man that was involved in that relationship was constantly comparing himself to other people.
That's a good observation. Like, he has shown no remorse this whole time he's been talking. No remorse. He's just regurgitating stuff that he thinks you want to hear. He's trash.
The man that was in that relationship. So he's saying he's not that guy. And the problem when you do that is, I see this all the time in court, where people, they distance themselves from the true acceptance of responsibility, right? Because that's one of the hallmarks of getting somebody sentence reduced. When they accept responsibility, the judge looks at it and says, and how is that evidenced? It's evidenced by the actions that you take, by the remorse that you feel. And he's talking about that guy.
And I was a dishonest person in that I was wearing this mask. I've gotten cold sores. Got them from my mother. I get 2 cold sores a year when I'm stressed out or I'm sick. I never told any of my sexual partners about getting cold sores.
Okay.
What?
Fuck his mother.
What? Oh my gosh. Why would you admit that? Cold sores are herpes. For those who do not understand. A lot of people like to pretend they're not herpes, but yes, it is a herpes virus. That's what a cold sore is. He didn't tell any of his sexual partners, and it does not have to be on your mouth. If you do other stuff in a different area, yes, it can go there too. Oh gosh.
And got cold sores from his mother, that's another issue altogether. But if you fuck somebody and give them cold sores on their fucking genitalia, that isn't from stress. That's called herpes.
Yep.
Never. And that's something, when you talk about, like, how do you talk to these people who you done fucked over? Like, there's certain shit you can't clean up.
Yeah.
You can't. It's like my wife. It's like, it's not sexy to be married and have a kid with a dude who's like this public abuser of women, sometimes you know, I'll go look up. I'll go look up like the response to my woman's film. You know, she had a movie came out not recently, and like there'll be comments like, you know, I don't fuck with this woman because she fucks with him. You know, that's heavy. You know, that my wife is like.
Well, deal with it. I mean, if you have a good-looking wife, and you know, so I mean, you see what he's doing. He's putting it back on himself, like that. Oh, look what I have to deal with, because you know, she's getting negative comments because of me. So woe is me. This is how fucking abusers are, though. You know, what they do, they never take fucking responsibility, and that's why they make the absolute worst clients on the fucking planet.
Yep.
No rules ever apply to them.
No.
They're always calling. They're all bitching. You know,
It's always somebody else's fault. Something outside of themselves is making them act a certain way. That is their MO. That is what they do. They never take accountability unless they go to therapy or something. And even then, it's hit or miss. But yeah, he's telling the truth.
so why do you think I don't do, you know, divorce work, family work? It's just like, it's so awful when you get these guys who, oh, but she's a bitch and this and that, you know, and ugh, it makes me want to just throw up.
How does that make you feel?
Ugh.
Terrible, dog.
Explain terrible.
How do you think it makes her feel?
Exactly.
Like
You're,
what?
Terrible.
you're not
Like
the
like you
victim.
converge into the kind of shame.
You are not the victim. You're not. You are not the victim. Quit. Stop it. This was a horrible idea. Horrible. Oh, this is disgusting.
That makes you unproductive. Like you can make yourself.
Is that unfair?
No, it's not unfair.
You don't think?
No, it's not unfair. The other examples that we've had of how to navigate something like this, which is to go after the woman or try to like win a court case or like get back into a fucking movie or like get back on it all. You know, my purpose, and I mean this with every fiber of my being, is to be instructive with my life so that I can be an advertisement, like a billboard for a principled way of living, and that this shit on the other side of being
Whatever.
Newsflash. Charlotte, you're never going to be a billboard for a decent way of living.
No.
being where I was is still fucking sexy. It's still glittery. It's still fun. To say that you deserve love when on paper, no, you don't. You know what I mean? Listen, bro, like for me, there are few things as ugly as putting your hands on a woman.
But yet you
What
did
I
it
tell you?
anyway.
I said there's no fucking excuse for you putting hands on a woman. And you know what? There are these stragglers out there who is going to say, well, what if she comes at me with a baseball bat? What if she does this? You know what? You're still going to be the one going to jail. There's other ways of handling a problem than putting your hands on a woman. I've never done it, never would in a million years. And neither should you.
There's nothing worse. I remember I used to come into AA all the time, put my hand up like, yeah, I just got in a fight with a cop. I grew up on Eazy-E. This shit's sexy, you know what I mean? I used to put my hand up like,
I mean, this guy's been in movies and has had privilege. Give me a
All
That
types
shit's
of privilege.
Sexy, man. I just beat a cop.
Rich
give me a
man
fucking
privilege,
break.
white
I'm not buying
privilege.
anything he says. It's like he's another character in one of his own little scripted cobweb brain of his.
I just flipped a car, you know, I just got in a fight with this or that. And there was like this faux, it was like I romanticized that kind of shit.
100%.
When you come back in and you raise your hand and you don't even need to raise your hand because dude's already read it, your baggage already showed up at the hotel before you got there. People know about you. There's nothing
People know about you.
dealing with.
Why does he
And
keep
that's what
rubbing
makes
his
me
nose?
useful.
I'm kind of worried about him rubbing his nose over and over. It makes me think he's on cocaine, like he sniffs it. Allegedly. I gotta throw that in there. I don't know, it's kind of odd the way he's just rubbing it.
It's also why I go to strictly men's meetings. Because you don't hear about dudes talk about what we're talking about at a mixed meeting. Because very quickly, once women are involved, I probably wouldn't be able to talk like this with you if there was a woman here. Because
And that's the problem. You know, that is the fucking problem right there. It's called
Yes.
accountability.
Yes.
You know, you should be able to be yourself, whether you're in front of a group of women or a group of men. And I can tell you this, I have absolutely no problem with who I am in front of women. And, you know, and the reason he can't is because they would shame the fuck out of him.
Yep.
Right away, the little boy in me would start like curating again. You know what I mean? And when I'm here with you, I can forget about that also and all this shit. It takes a certain kind of dude to be able to open a person up like this and be receptive of it, and also like show up and look the dragon in the eye, knowing that there's purpose.
Yeah.
Like I'm purpose driven here. I'm willing to eviscerate myself and emasculate myself and like.
He isn't okay. That's
No, he's not.
Okay.
No,
I
he's
mean,
not.
I'm. This is just PR. That's all this is. I'm willing to emasculate myself. I'm willing to, you know, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. He never talks honestly about how he made anybody else feel.
Yep.
It's all about him. So this is a half-hearted attempt at public rehab. You know, if he's in AA, I applaud him. If he's sober, I fucking applaud him, because I've never respected sobriety more than watching family members go through it, and it's not easy to do. And so, to the extent
The way he's rubbing his nose, I think he's back on that powder. I don't know.
that, you know, he's got an issue with chemicals or whatever, but you know, one of the things he did say in this interview that I did think was spot on is, had he been just Shia, the non-actor, he wouldn't have gotten away with any of that. The cops would have been called. One of the reasons that people don't call the cops on people like this is because, guess what? Okay, then I'm no longer associated. This is my only connection to the film industry. This is my only connection to glitz and glamour. So I'm going to take this shit, you know, and you just can't really give a shit, because I want to talk to every guy out there. Never put your hands on a woman. If you feel like you need to do that, walk out of the room. Go
Leave.
get some fresh air.
Absolutely.
Go take
Leave.
your aggression out on the track. You know, you don't need to do this. And that's why I really hate domestic cases.
Yep.
Unless it's really clear that the other side is at fault. And I've had those cases too. So this is just our reaction to Shia Labeouf.
I'm going to stop it right there. Bruce Rivers, he is spot on as usual. I love his channel. I'm a big fan of his. And Bruce Rivers, if you're watching this, you are awesome and I love you. And okay, besties, I will catch you in the next video. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and see you later.